Alright, so Inoue beats Nakatani, right? He beat Nakatani. This was a few days ago now. The biggest fight in Japanese history, right? Inoue retained his undisputed titles. Listen, it was a good fight. It was a competitive fight. More competitive than I thought. You know, what I thought was Inoue would get the better of Nakatani and stop him late in the fight, in the championship rounds. That didn't happen. You know, if anything, Nakatani came on the stronger. You know, and I put that down to the youth of Nakatani. I believe he's 27. You know, and Inoue's 33. So Inoue's just sort of coming to the end of his prime, whereas Nakatani's right there in his prime. You know, so he had that going for him. He also had a natural size advantage. So yeah, when Nakatani actually stepped it up and was brave enough to go toe-to-toe with Inoue, he did well. But for me, it was a little too late, you know, too little too late, right? Because Inoue, I had him dominating the early rounds. The first 5 rounds, I believe I had him up 4-1. And not that he dominated Nakatani, but he was doing more. You know, he was on the front foot. He was outscoring Nakatani. You know, he was the aggressor. So yeah, I think I had him, Inoue, up 5 or 4-1 after 5. Then Nakatani came on. You know, he was told by his corner, you've got to step it up. You know, you've got to go to him. You've got to let your hands go. And he did. You know, Nakatani, he got brave and he started to let his hands go and walk Inoue down. Like I say, his size, his youth was showing there, right? So he did really well. And then we had the cut, right? The head clash. So they clashed heads and Nakatani came off worse for wear. He had blood dripping in his eye. And then the momentum he did have shifted again, and Inoue took over the last couple of rounds. So yeah, it was a close fight. I believe I had it 7-5 Inoue, maybe 8-4. But yeah, if the head clash didn't take place, could have been a very different fight, you know, because all the momentum up until the head clash was with Nakatani. So if he didn't suffer that cut right above his eye and have blood dripping in his eye, you know, he probably would have carried on and took the last couple of rounds. So yeah, it's a fight that deserves a rematch for sure, you know, because it was that close and because of the head clash. You know, I think they've got to run it back. Personally, I'd like to see Inoue take on Hernandez first, right? Hernandez, who fought Nakatani in his last fight, he beat Nakatani, right? He's a pressure fighter, Hernandez. Nakatani started off well, but Hernandez took over that fight, and I had him winning. You know, it was still a competitive fight, but I had Hernandez beating Nakatani, right? So I think Hernandez deserves a shot at Inoue now. That would be a very interesting fight. Hernandez brings a lot of pressure. He's very tough. You know, he lets his hands go. You know, can Inoue keep him off him? Can Inoue keep Hernandez off him? I'm not sure. You know, Hernandez, like I said, he got to Nakatani, right? He got to him. He broke him down. He got inside. He banged him up. You know, he shut Nakatani's eye. You know, he beat up on him the mid to late rounds of that fight. So I'd love to see Inoue take on Hernandez next. and then the winner of that, Nakatani gets them, right? And it makes sense, and it's either way it works out good, right? Because if Inoue beats Hernandez, we get the Inoue Nakatani rematch, which is makes sense. Nakatani deserves a rematch, and if Hernandez beats Inoue, well, then we get a rematch between Hernandez and Nakatani, right? So, which makes sense as well. So, for me, I'd like to see that Inoue Hernandez next, and then the winner, Nakatani gets the winner of that fight, right? So, anyway, it was a good fight, competitive fight. Nakatani showed, that he is on par really with Inoue, especially now. I think maybe a couple of years ago, Inoue would have had too much for him, but now that Inoue's just at that age where he's starting to slow down, right? Not that he's slowed down much, but just a little bit, just enough to let these guys, catch up or sort of get close to where he's at. It was a very good fight, very competitive fight, more a chess match than a war. You could tell that neither guy wanted to get caught by the other. They both carry power. So yeah, a lot of respect shown, especially in the early rounds. But yeah, very good fight. I thought Inoue did win. But yeah, next up, let's see Inoue Hernandez, and then go from there. That's what I think. Let me know what you think.